Hello, welcome to Wrestling in Mom's Basement. This is, as this guy over here said, SummerSlam 2012. The review show. I, of course, am Patrick Young. This guy to my right is a Jive Soul Bro, Joe Venuto.
SummerSlam 2012, August 19th, 2012, from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Attendance was 14,205. Commentators on Colin Jerry Lawler. Make sure here's Brock Lesnar's back having returned midnight after WrestleMania, started feud with John Cena. That feud lasted for a month before Lesnar started going to Triple H. It wasn't until 3 months later, as in tonight, that they're having their showdown. Other than that, we have Punk defending the title against Big Show, Cena, and Sheamus defending against Del Rio. Let's get to it. The open video told us about the 25 years of SummerSlam. Me and we'll have to hear about how this is the 25th anniversary. The video is interrupted by the talk of a storm cold.
It was actually the 24th anniversary.
You know how WWE does anniversaries.
Yes. The 25th WrestleMania is not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. It's the 24th.
The video is interrupted by the talk of a storm called Brock Lesnar, which they fear is the main draw of the show. Jerry and Cole's intro is called by Vicky Screechin and Troy Ziggler. Open contest, Dolph Ziggler vs. Chris Jericho. Dolph is Mr. Money Back here, and Jericho is freshly faced after Ziggler accused him of going soft. Jericho has taped up version on the attack of Ziggler's fans. The fans love Chris, and things are faced with Chris hitting to jump back over Joel. Jericho slips out of the corner on the spinning clothesline, but Ziggler skips a suplex and kicks him in the ribs to take over. Dolph stays on the ropes for a quick two, but gets backdropped to the floor. Chris springboard dive misses as Ziggler casually ducks, sending Jericho crash to that floor. Ziggler hooks on a chin lock with a body scissors to stay on the ropes. A knee to the head gets two for Dolph, and neckbreaker complete with hip swivel and iron ring cover. Gets two more. Jericho gets a quick cradle for two, but Ziggler takes him right back down. Little clothesline. Dolph misses a stinger splash, and Chris goes after him, only to be easily taken down by another shot to the ribs. Not that matters, just pops up to the top for an axe handle. But Ziggler kicks him in the ribs again. The famous surges too. But Ziggler pulls Dolph down for two as well. Back and forth match so far here. Dolph jumps over Chris in the corner, pulls on the sleeper, which didn't look that good here. Jericho brings him in the corner to escape and brings out some right hands before snapping off the top rope, turning around. The ribs were damaged even more, though, delaying the count by several seconds. A jump in the ET gets two on Chris, and Ziggler's getting frustrated. They slug it out with Jericho taking down via the bulldog, but the line still his knees. The zigzag gets two, but Dolph can't follow up. Instead, he walks into a code breaker and sends him to the floor. Jericho throws him in, but gets tripped up by Vicky, allowing Ziggler to roll in from two. Dolph misses a charge into the post, and the Wolves go on for the submission.
It was my favorite match of the night. It was just, it was an exciting opener. How the card works out after that, that's to be determined. But this match, I thought, was the strongest. Probably had, if I remember correctly, it had the strongest build too. But I thought that Jericho and Dolph really delivered in their opener for an exciting start to the show.
I did hear Jericho couldn't win the big one anymore. The prime here said they will have a rematch the next night with Jericho's contract and Dolph's case on the line. Why did they add that match here? Anyone's guess, but at least it was a good opener and fans pop for the ending. They had some Shelton versus HBK from 2005 in there, with Jericho fighting a younger version of himself by using his maturity and experience to get the win.
I give the match a B+.
B. Vicky freaks out her loss. We recap. Brock breaking Shawn Michaels' arm on roll, and Heyman and Brock say Lesnar wins tonight. Daniel Bryan versus Kane. It's amazing that this team started 6 years ago. The fans already chanting yes, and Bryan says no. It's amazing how to chant that simple carry Bryan so far. This was set by GM AJ as revenge against Bryan for what was this up again? Why was this up again? Why did AJ do this match?
I think the reasoning Bryan was giving was because she's crazy and she's vindictive ex. Okay. I think.
Bryan fires no kicks to start, but walks into the uppercut and knock him back. Daniel moonsaults over Kane in the corner, but his kick in the face pulled him down. The low drop kick gets two for Kane, but the fans hold behind Daniel. Another big boot gets two, but Bryan comes out with kicks to the legs, only to be thrown over top and out to the floor. Bryan slides back in and hits the flying goat to put Kane down. The missile drop kick drops Kane again, and there are more kicks.
No, it was at the wedding, Bryan was going to marry her and then put her in an insane asylum.
Right,
which is crazy.
Okay.
So I think this is getting back at Bryan because that.
Okay.
I think that's the reasoning.
Another big boot is too. Bryan came back with a kick since the flying go. The missile dropkick drops Kane again. There are more kicks on there. Kane clotheslines way out of trouble. The side slam gets to the top rope clothesline looks to sell the choke slam. But Bryan builds to the floor. Bryan slaps him in the face like a knucklehead, sending Kane through the roof. Bryan's tossed into the corner to stop down by Fierce Kane. The referee drives him away, allowing Bryan to try to no lock. Kane powers out so Bryan kicks him in the head while they complicate things. The fly headbelt is calling the choke slam, but Kane wants the tombstone, allowing Bryan to counter a small package for the pin.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match. It kept their Kane-Bryan story moving on. Even the after match where Josh Matthews gets thrown, which in hindsight is now more enjoyable because Josh Matthews is kind of annoying. And I thought that Bryan and Kane worked really well together. And again, I like that Bryan won by a roll-up, continuing their story even further. And Kane didn't actually get his hands on Bryan right after the match either, which I thought was another good touch.
It was a good match, and you could see the anger management stuff coming. Tate had Bryan beat, but just wanted revenge on Bryan catch the ball hard. These two albums had chemistry together, and the story will be a big boost to Kane's career. Also, the original idea here was Bryan versus Charlie Sheen somehow, so.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen because that was the year Charlie Sheen went crazy and got fired from 2.5 Men.
And all that. Yeah. So thankfully that was our mission again.
Gave it a B-.
Charlie Sheen, Charlie Sheen, that's right. He's going nuts in the back. Josh Matthews comes up to him like he is, and he launched off camera. And played it. Up next.
And again, it's more enjoyable in 2018 than it was then because Josh Matthews is annoying on TNA or Impact Television.
Up next, Intercontinental title, the Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. Miz is defending Mysterio's dressed like Batman. Ray grabs a quick roll for 2 and the champion be also for a bit. AJ is promised to deal Kane for tackle Matthews tomorrow roll. Miz throws Mysterio for the ropes to the floor, but Ray rolls through to avoid pain. The champion sends him Miz first into barricade takeover. Miz pulls on Ray's face and pulls on chin lock before hitting something resembling a business shock treatment. Torture shock.
Yeah.
The torture rock backbreaker for 2. I'll boot the Ray's takes 2. Miz hits the corner close on his sister one time and a crown on Ray crotch him on top. Ray's sees Sentinels roll through into a slingshot set out power on for 2 for Miz. Ray comes out with a tornado DDT for the same result and a top rope on Corona sends Miz into the 619 position. The kick to the face connects, but Ray misses the top of his splash. The Skull Crusher finale is countered for a hot 2 count. Second attempt at the finale more so to retain Miz's title.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match. You start seeing what Miz could do, well, with what he's doing almost 6 years later. And especially with Ray, who is an actually exciting person to watch in the ring. I thought they had very good chemistry together. And I thought it was a good little match for the Intercontinental title, which especially around that time didn't necessarily get much press.
Yeah, it took a long time to go, but once it did, I had a few nice moments. Both of these guys have fell so far in just a year from SummerSlam 21, as both guys were fighting for the world title just a year ago. The match was very good, though. It was one of those matches that came and went, because I don't think there was really a story behind it.
Yeah.
But still a very good match.
I ended up giving it a B.
A B+. No, my fault, this was actually my match tonight. My fault. Tay Long and Eve, the bosses of SmackDown, leave AJ's office.
There's kind of an odd setup, too.
Yeah.
Tay Long just said, I think AJ Lee's doing a very good job, and Eve being like the evil businesswoman at the time. And walked away.
I ain't seen her prove what she's doing. They leave and Punk goes in to find Smile on AJ. Punk doesn't like the idea of being chosen for a title tie, and things just happen as revenge for him rejecting AJ's proposal. AJ just stares over the space and Punk accuses her of disrespecting him, but she doesn't move an inch. We recap about Bird versus Sheamus used to feud for forever.
It felt like it was forever.
And Del Rio never did much of anything. You complain about Sheamus not being high class, and Sheamus stole Del Rio's car. Fake cops beat up Sheamus, and that's right. It's boring to feud to see. Saturday World Title, Sheamus versus Del Rio. Filling out the process to start, but both guys tumbling out the floor. Back in, and Sheamus is a quick net breaker in the roll, sent time for 2s. Sheamus puts someone on the top rope for a belly back suplex, while Burrow gets on the Sheamus shoulders to escape. The buckle pads pulled over in the process. Del Rio came with the arm breaker, so he kicked Sheamus out of the floor instead. Sheamus is sent knee first into the steps, and the crowd's dead. Back in, Del Rio is a flying shoulder block for 2 before hooking a chin lock. I kick to the head, gets the champion, and we hit the chin lock. Back in the worst of Del Rio mocked Sheamus' chest pounded before a broke kick. Only though Sheamus accidentally him in the head. Sheamus gets up by a kick to the a kick to the head. Puts him down again, up to the left. A kick to the arm. Gets Super Alberto, and the heartbreaker goes on, finally waking the crowd. Sheamus, of course, is pretty phased by it. And rolls on Del Rio to break the pressure. He picks Alberto up into a kind powerbomb and break the hole. Earn himself a chant from the crowd. White noise consumed with Sheamus and Woods in charge of the corner. Setting up forearms in the ropes. Sheamus pounds down right hands in the corner, but gets dropped face first on his buckle. Things are going in the corner is good for 2, so Del Rio yells at Ricardo. Rodriguez throws in his shoe, but Sheamus intercepts it to knock Ricardo out cold. The Irish Curse hits for the pin, ignoring Del Rio's foot beyond the rope. Rematch.
Yep. So yeah, pretty much a boring feud was continuing. Yeah, I remember it thankfully being over after the next pay-per-view, which I thought they would have had a better match than they did here. But yeah, this is literally just a conduit to continue a feud without any interest, and I don't think the match actually added any interest to the feud either. So I think it was lacking in that aspect. It was well wrestled, but it didn't necessarily get you more excited for a possible rematch, or even like made you forget what the build-up actually was. Solid, okay match, but kind of sluggish and slow-paced.
The match was decent, but I never felt like Sheamus was in any real danger. The drop on his toes buckle, and then Ziguri got near full, but I didn't feel like it close to near full. It felt like it was there because this is where we're supposed to have a dramatic takeout, if that makes sense. It's not bad, but this feud didn't need to continue at all.
No. I ended up giving it a C.
A D+. We hear about Mike Tyson and Pierce Morgan having a Twitter war over the main event. I got
because it's better than Cole kept on saying perfect storm.
He wasn't that bad.
It kind of was.
We got a clip from the pre-show where Troy tells the referee that the match is and then count out or DQ. Tag titles. Primetime players versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. I don't remember Kofi and Truth being champions at all.
I was going to say that in my remarks.
Okay.
I didn't know they were a team. Actually, the first off, and I definitely didn't know they were tag team champions.
Truth and Young Gallows as the fans chant Kobe Bryant.
And I swear I watched around this time.
Referencing the joke that got AW fired. Young is taking down my arm drag and leg wrong with Super Truth. Oh, my fault. The face of the primetime players. It's not Kobe Truth versus 2 enhancement talents. If I didn't say they're fighting, Truth has to fight on the corner, but he's calling the face on a big boot for 2. Back up, and Truth hits a great sidekick to take Tyson's head off and get himself a breather. Off the Kobe speaking things up as the crowd slows all not interested. Kobe chops O'Neal down by a Young distraction unless the challengers take over. Titus clotheslines Kobe down for 2 before suplexing Young on the Kobe's back for 2. A snap suplex just to save down range back to Titus for a double sharp. Excuse me, that goes nowhere. So Titus loads up a spin out rock bomb, only to be pulled down the DDT. Hot Time brings the Truth to clean house, and Aaron breaks down Titus 7-4. And caught by a Kobe dive, allowing Truth to hit the little Jimmy on Darren to retain the titles.
Not necessarily an exciting tag match. Probably more forgettable than it would like to be at the end of the night. But there wasn't really any story going into it, and it wasn't necessarily the most exciting sounding tag match in history. Like literally, we forgot Kofi Kingston and R-Truth were tag team champions. I actually forgot they were even a team. So. Not necessarily exciting, but for some reason the crowd actually seemed to be somewhat into it. They started chants of, obviously, of AW who literally started...
No, the chant for Kobe.
The chant for Kobe. Obviously in reference to AW, and for some reason they seem to be starting R-Truth and Kofi chants. So at least they were trying to stay into the match, and I guess the wrestlers were actually able to keep the focus on them, more than just chants of JBL or Jerry or Mike Chioda. or Michael Cole even. So at least it had that going for it, and it's going to be forgettable, but it was probably literally just thrown onto the card.
This could be on any given role. The players are the primetime players. I guess they're a decent team, but Tice is clearly the star, with Young just being there. Kofi and Drew are just transitional champions before Hell No will take the championships a few weeks later. Nothing to see here other than a filler before we get to the main events.
I ended up giving it a D.
Filler. F. For filler.
F for filler, got it.
I didn't care about this match at all.
I didn't really care about it, but hey, the crowd seemed into it. They seemed to have fun.
Video on SummerSlam Access, we recapped the Royal World title match. Punk won the title Survivor Series, but got angrier. Rock vs. Cena being announced as the main event of Wrestling 28 year in advance. Cena cashed in on a money back case at Royal 1000 with Big Show Cena match. AJ made a three-way for the sake of Torment and Punk, now a heel demanding respect for turning down her proposal. Punk complains about the title should be the focus. He wasn't getting respect for why the heel turn didn't go well. There are logical points that heels aren't especially logical. Though he's feeling like this source is a source of a lot of problems. Heels are supposed to be the bullies or maniacal in their delusions, not making fully out rational points. That's why Punk was a face too. He came back into Wrestling 29. Royal World title, John Cena versus CM Punk versus Big Show. Show knocks down both small guys as Cole talks about Punk not being in the show since December, despite holding the title the entire time. Good point, actually. The layout chop hits both Cena and Punk's chest twice, each with Big Show until control. They finally work together, but Show easily suplexes them both down. Cena's crushing the corner, knocking him out to the floor, so Punk versus Show on one. Punk wisely takes out the knee and fires off kicks to the chest as the fans are entirely behind Punk. The star moves are cancelled as Punk tries a GTS with the obvious result. Cena tries the AA, but powers of gravity take him down mat, crushes Cena's seconds mat. Show chops Punk down the corner, knocks Cena out to the floor. Punk avoids the splash and tries to springboard across the body like an idiot, earned that power slam he gets. The Fallen Cup puts Punk down, but Cena breaks up the WMD, earning himself a spear from the Giant for 2. Show loads up a elevator ball, but only hits Cena allowing Punk to springboard on the show for save. Everybody just in 4 with Bishop chokes on Punk gets the rope, sending him back to 4. Show drops Cena with a side slam, but steers out of the crown set covering. And maybe someone was holding a Twinkie, I don't know. Maybe Bishop was hungry while he was staring out the crowd. Cena actually hits a belly-to-back suplex with Show loads up the shuffle. Only that Punk charging for a save. The champion drops the Show elbow from Cena's Show but gets launched away. Since covering hasn't worked, Punk puts on a modified Koji clutch. The Show easily powers out. The crowd has died for some reason. Cena comes back in and shoulders Show down, bringing him back to life. There's a CFL Show, but the Big Bang stands back on to break the hold. Punk comes in with a springboard, clothesline takes Show down, followed by 3 straight knees to the head in the corner. The Bulldog was easily countered, of course. But Cena has a timer frame, so pull the Giant down. We did Koji clutch SCF combo and Show taps, but we have no clear winner. This brings out AJ with Punk shout and do the right thing like Spike Lee. Let the people decide. They can tweet about it. Who eventually says respect. AJ eventually says respect the match. And then Show hit double chokeslam for 2 on each guy. Cena ducks the WMD and hits the AA, but Punk throws him to the floor and steals the pin routine.
I thought this match was kind of okay. It wasn't necessarily great in my opinion. It was fun from where it was going. Then they sort of did the false ending, which kind of didn't really make any sense. Like, if Punk has the submission in on Big Show, why isn't Cena breaking it up? Instead of actually going on there and adding on to the submission, in which it looked weaker than usual by literally just having his hands like this on top of Big Show's head. Like that was John Cena's submission hold, just that. So I didn't necessarily like that false finish because it didn't necessarily make sense from a Cena standpoint. Him being a 10-time champion at that point. He didn't get the idea of, okay, this guy has him in a finisher. Maybe I should actually break it up instead of, I don't know, trying to add to it in case he taps before I can actually get my submission in. And that ended, the match literally ended a minute later by just having John by having John doing the incredible FU, which I think we've seen to death at this point, and didn't necessarily doubt that Cena could pick up Big Show. And Punk just literally throws Cena out, gets the pin, and walks away champion. And then for some reason strikes Jimmy Snuka pose while celebrating. Who knows? I don't know.
The match was okay. The logical story was something I've seen before. The Root Star's pretty done as well as Bishop should have had a chance to win the title after tapping out. So there's also that logic tap.
Yeah.
Bishop already tapped, so why is he getting all the chance?
That is true, yes.
Cena versus Punk will continue for months, which will make for some great matches, but this wasn't anything special. I'm not bad. I don't know.
Yeah. I gave it a C.
See. Various B-level celebrities are here. Marie Menounos and Bob Backlund's shirt works very well. Trailer for WWE's latest movie is at this point. It was today.
Oh, you also forgot Fred Durst giving the middle finger.
I get that. We recapped the pre-show match to fill in time. Kevin Rudolph sings the theme song.
And the cringiest thing I've probably ever seen in WWE. Like literally, it just wouldn't try to go around the arena to find people dancing to the song. First off, nobody knew the song. The song isn't that good.
What song was it?
It was the song they were playing the whole night for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. It's by that guy, Kevin Rudolph. And then it was just it was something about Be a Star, yeah.
Yeah, Nicole King started dancing.
Yeah, Cole King, Lillian, and Justin Roberts were dancing.
These two wobble them in the crowd and are like the only two people dancing.
Yeah, then they have to throw the divas out there to do some sort of
stripper
routine. No, well, like a stripper dance to like a kindergarten routine where there's just one person that's wailing in the guitar, and while all the girls are like dancing to it. Yeah, it's really cringy and really cheesy, and when I watched it last night, I skipped over that part. Well,
what?
No, I watched it for 30 seconds, waited for the one to come out going, yeah, this is really bad, and then fast forward through it. Yeah, I was like, I'm done.
But we had to review it.
I know. It was literally just them dancing. It wasn't like an angle happening. It wasn't like Kevin Rudolph being powerbombed through a table off the stage happening. I just knew he was going to sing the song, the one we were just going to dance. By the way, I'm actually probably dancing better than they did, which is probably the scary fact. But yeah, it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything special, so I was just like, "Yep, skip."
We recapped the main event. After that, basically Lesnar tried to hold the company hostage by renaming Raw to Monday Night Raw. Starring Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, starring Brock Lesnar.
Triple H stood up to him and he got broken arm as a result. Brock broke Shlomo's arm as well to make it a domestic issue for Triple H.
You attacked my wife.
This is one of those issues that people weren't, feuds that people weren't all that thrilled to see, but it could have been worse. More on that later. Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. We get spotlights for the big match intros and a cool idea. Remember that Triple H told referee to allow fight time. Lesnar powers Triple H to the corner and goes for a standing Kimura arm lock that he used to break the arm. With a jumping by since Triple H, though, was a man, and powers out of it before clothesline Brock to the floor. Back in, and Brock powers away. Only to be clothesline to the floor again, because Cena can be a war with Brock that sure rules that Triple H can easily stop him. Brock comes in and takes the MMA gloves off before taking Triple H down to the mat with an amateur move. They head outside with Triple H struggling with Brock's attacks and pounding away, only to be dropped arm first onto the announce table. Lesnar eventually drags Triple H back in for a hammerlock slam. Back to the standing corner with Brock wrapping the arm around the ropes and ramming it into the corner. A release German suplex pushed Triple H down, but he comes back with a neck slam of Chris Ropes. Brock is taken down by DDT, but he goes right back to the Kimura and another hammerlock slam. They head to the floor with the arm going to the steps and the rest of Triple H going to the announce table. Brock jumps off the table and the name for taking him back inside of all things. Lesnar busts out a small package for a 1 count.
It's kind of a weird thing to add for being such an ass kicker dominant world beater.
Yeah.
That you need a small package.
A hard clothesline pushes Triple H down, but he blocks suplex into one of his own to get a breather. Brock was charging the corner, but blocks Pedigree and first Triple H out to the floor. Triple H sends him into the now stable stomach first, which is a weak spot to do some real life pestilences, which ended his UFC career for all intents and purposes. More shots to the stomach had Brock in trouble on knee to reverse pull him down. Heyman is losing his mind and Brock is in trouble. The spy balls put Brock down and there's a pedigree for 2. A low blow puts Triple H down. Heyman screams that this was Triple H's idea. The F5 is given to him. Brock is stunned. I have no idea why. As you know, you can't win off of one finisher in WWE. Well, Brock can now, but I mean...
yeah.
Now the Kimura goes on down with bystanders by a rope break means nothing. Instead, Triple H pretty much easily punches his way out of it and hits an up pedigree. Thankfully, Brock no sells it and pulls on the Kimura, breaking arm again and drawing the submission.
I think you can file this under the same thing other Triple H big matches seem to fall under. Where it feels like they're trying to be more epic than it actually is. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what they're going for instead of just letting it happen naturally.
Right.
Where it feels like, yeah, it's a big match, Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. It's actually, I actually remember it being a dream match for some people around the time. But it just felt like nothing really happened. Mm-hmm. It's like the ending happened where Triple H hit with the pedigree, Brock pops up out of nowhere and locks in the Kimura lock.
Right.
Other than that, it's not really memorable.
No, it's not.
For it like being an epic headlining match. It just wasn't memorable. It was okay. It was well wrestled, but it wasn't anything like you would write home about that Triple H and Brock Lesnar should be. And there's worse to come from these two later on that year.
The match is okay, but has one major flaw. It's boring. You don't bring in Brock Lesnar to have him go toe-to-toe with Triple H.
No.
You bring him in to have him destroy small cities and eat people. Eat the little villagers.
And eat people.
That's the issue here. You're eating the villagers. We went from Cena surviving against an insane Brock Lesnar to Triple H having Brock in trouble for a dull match. Lesnar didn't seem insane here at all and made for a much less interesting match. Also, Cena won with a Hail Mary shot, whereas Triple H can slug out with Lesnar. That just doesn't hold up at all. Somehow this would be a high point, but if you went on for another 10 months.
Yeah.
Rating.
Rating. I did somewhat enjoy the match. It just wasn't memorable to me, so like C+.
C. Naturally, Triple H gets the big heroic stand up in the ring, but instead people get an examination, they tell him that he tapped out.
That backfired pretty quickly.
Triple H stands there until people finally pull him. He apologizes to the fans, slowly walks out. I guess it's supposed to be like All Star WrestleMania 13, but it's just feeling.
Yeah, like, oh my god, he stood up to that big monster. Yeah.
The speculation is that Triple H is leaving for good, and if you bought that, raise your hand to show how gullible you are. Overall rating for the show?
Overall rating for the show, I gave it a C-. It probably doesn't equal the grades. Like, it probably should be overall higher grade if I average it out a little more correctly. But it was sort of flat for a major show in SummerSlam. But like, I expected more. Like, even if it's a bad show, I'll still grade it a little higher if they had like a strong, memorable moment on a major show like SummerSlam or Mania or Royal Rumble even. But it just felt like not much really happened, and nothing of consequence would actually be taken on the pay-per-view, in my eye.
Yeah, I agree. C- my grade too. This is an interesting show, as most of the matches are okay, but nothing goes beyond that level. Mine's a few good matches in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Most of the show will be classified as okay's best and uninteresting worst. And it's just kind of nothing memorable other than Triple H demanding to give us his moment. He got all the moments he wants right now. And modern day. And then, nothing to see here though, not worth checking out. And there's a real Q&A, but right now it's time to pick our retro review.
Yes.
For next Monday.
And it is.
Well, I'll tell you, Money Bank 2013.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, so the show in Philly. See that, can John Cena come to Mark Henry or Roberto Royal Sean's man following capture. the WWE Championship.
And we can also provide you a unique experience for this one too.
'Cause we
were actually there live.
So we'll be back next Monday for that.
And it's actually probably overall one of my favorite shows I've seen live too.
Yeah, and up next will be the Q&A video. So
Yes. See that.